This is a non-expert demonstration of some of the bits and pieces involved with the BS35 carburetors. Now, they only appeared on the 83-84 Yamaha XJ900, and they are different to subsequent carburetors, which are 36mm and a bigger engine. So trying to find bits and pieces for this first XJ900 can be a little bit of a problem. You'll notice there on the end of the number, or starter number, sorry, 31A, that was the identifier and that for it. So having found these kits, I was very pleased, because one of the things I've learnt with carburetors, you either do it properly or really don't bother unless you're desperate. And if you do take that latter option, chances are you're going to be disappointed. This is only the first stage, because I'll swing over here, the dead bits and pieces. All the diaphragms need changing in it as well, but I can't do that at the moment because of delivery problems from the United States in this corona period. Now, I've got everything tipped into containers there, just generally, but specifically with the O-rings separated out. The O-rings are required for fuel and air connected between the carbies, and I've discovered in taking a few of them off, most of them I've broken in taking them off. So they might look good, but they're not. Change them. Now, what the issue there is that each of the kits has 4 of the O-rings, and there's 12 required. So I just thought, well, tip everything out into one place, well, 2 or 3 places, and have access to the O-rings. And having containers rather than living on a bench also makes it difficult for Muggins here, who has a great delight, don't you, in jumping up on benches and tap 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 with a paw, knocking things off. I keep, oh, you're looking at it now, aren't you? I keep her there to keep an eye on her. Rightio. In some of the bits and pieces in the kits, you get new needles, all the jets, main jet, pilot air jet, fuel jet, the adjustment screw, and they're all critical because they get wear and that on them. It might not be obvious, but it creates great dramas and problems and things. Oh no, Muggins is over there. Panic attack. Needle, they wear, they get a little bit shorter, and it creates absolute chaos with good metering of fuel. And doesn't show up. Where are we? Well, there. I can't get the cap off there, but the air adjusting screws, very, very fine chips on them. A little bit of damage, a little bit of wear. You just can't get it right. Before you put the rack back together, secure it all up, make sure you've got at least the inner choke back in place, because once you do all the screws and the mountings and everything up, these will not go into place. Okay, the rack is reassembled and we've got our springs back in place. 1, 2, 3. We can now feed the choke rod in. You can see the indentation there to match the screw. When you look at it carefully, it'll only go one way, so you can't get it wrong, but you must slide it over the choke as you feed the rod through on each stage, each carby I should say. Okay, choke reassembled. And they all pop out and slide back nicely. This is what I use to synchronise the carburetors. It's simply homemade 5mm plastic tube, all joined at the bottom, just using ordinary 5mm connectors, T-pieces, and the fluid is 2-stroke because there is a possibility of sucking oil into the intake. The advantage of this system is it is very, very accurate. In fact, annoyingly accurate. You can't get enough precision out of the screw adjustments on the carbies to make it work. The downside is being sensitive. If the carbies are out of whack significantly, it will just simply start to suck oil straight up one tube or drop down below the bottom point there and then start pulling air up into the other, so you have to stop and let it reset. But if you've got patience, this is a very simple system. It's very reliable. It's just a bit fiddly.